Sister Wives Kody Brown shares thoughts on Gwendlyn being gay. Sister Wives star Kody Brown is sharing his thoughts on his daughter, Gwendlyn Brown, being gay. Though he already went through his child, Leon Brown, coming out, how was it the second time around? Keep reading for all of the details. Kody Brown shares thoughts on Gwendlyn being gay. Several seasons back, Mary and Kody Brown's only child, Leon Brown, gathered their parents to come out. Though initially terrified, they were immediately embraced and things went swimmingly. Along with their partner, Audrey Chris, their mothers, and Kody went wedding venue shopping. Unfortunately, the pandemic occurred right after they looked at some locations, but the family never seemed uncomfortable or made Leon and Audrey feel out of place. Then, Kody and Cristin Brown Woolley's daughter, Gwendlyn Brown, shared she was bisexual. Cristin said she was not shocked at all. After Lana came out, it clicked that this could be Gwen's path as well. She then met Beatriz Queiroz and the two became engaged. They had planned a summer 2023 wedding, but first, they had a bridal shower which aired on the Sunday, November 10th episode of Sister Wives. The whole family gathered to celebrate the nuptials, including Kody, Robin Brown, Cristin, and her new boyfriend, David Woolley. So how did Kody feel knowing that his daughter was marrying a woman? According to In Touch Weekly, he was fine with the two of them walking down the aisle. His ex-wife, Cristin, also had nothing but praise for Gwendlyn and Beatriz's romance. She loved the couple together and was happy to share their special day. Not everything is approved. While Kody Brown may have had no problems with Gwendlyn Brown marrying a woman or being gay, he did struggle with something else. At the bridal shower, Gwen and Beatriz had a tattoo artist. He walked in when Gwen was getting inked while David and Cristin Brown Woolley were right behind. Therefore, that was a tad awkward. Kody claimed he had nothing against tattoos, he just had a phobia of them. This was a hard pill to swallow, plus he had to meet Cristin's boyfriend for the first time. So there was a lot more going down aside from same-sex marriage. Kody Brown, the once proud patriarch of the Sister Wives family, sat on the edge of his leather couch in Flagstaff, his hand nervously tapping against the armrest. The air was heavy, the silence in the room palpable. Robin sat across from him, her brow furrowed in concern, but she didn't speak. This was his moment to figure out what he wanted to say, not to the family, not to the cameras, but to Gwendlyn herself. For years, Kody had been at the center of the Sister Wives universe, juggling relationships, children, and his own ego. But this was different. This wasn't about a marital disagreement or financial struggles. This was about his daughter, Gwendlyn, boldly stepping into her truth as a gay woman. In typical Kody fashion, he wasn't sure where to start. "I've always considered myself open-minded," Kody began, his voice low, almost reflective. "But when something like this happens in your family, it forces you to look inward. And, I guess it's been a learning curve for me." He glanced at Robin for reassurance. She nodded, her lips pressed into a thin line of encouragement, but her eyes betrayed her nervousness. A father's struggle with change, Kody's thoughts swirled like a whirlwind. He prided himself on being the kind of father who was present, who loved his children unconditionally. Yet, when Gwendlyn had first come out to him a few months ago, he had been caught off guard. "I remember the day she told me," he said, almost to himself. "She sat me down, just like she was talking about her favorite book or a new hobby she'd picked up. She was so calm, so sure of herself, and I didn't know what to say." He had always imagined a certain path for his children. Marriage, family, a life rooted in the values he had built their world around. Gwendlyn's revelation shattered that neatly curated vision. At first, Kody's reaction had been one of quiet discomfort. He had nodded, mumbled something about how he supported her, but the truth was, he didn't know how to process it. It wasn't that he didn't love her. He did, fiercely. But it challenged the way he had been raised and the beliefs he had carried with him into adulthood. Gwendlyn's perspective. For Gwendlyn, coming out to her father had been an act of courage, but also one of necessity. She had spent years feeling like an outsider in the Brown family, her vibrant personality often clashing with Kody's overbearing nature. But this was different. This was her truth, and she refused to hide it. "Dad, I'm gay," she had said simply, her green eyes locked onto his. She hadn't flinched, even when he had faltered. Her siblings had been overwhelmingly supportive, particularly her mother, Cristin, who had wrapped Gwendlyn in a hug and told her she couldn't be prouder. But Kody's reaction had been tepid, a mixture of confusion and forced acceptance. "He's trying," Gwendlyn told her fancy, Beatriz, one evening as they prepared dinner in their small, shared apartment. "I think he's genuinely struggling with it, but I can tell he loves me. He just doesn't know how to show it." Beatrice nodded, her smile warm. "Give him time. It's not easy for everyone, especially when they've been taught to see the world a certain way." Robin's role. Back in the living room, Robin broke the silence. "Kody, you don't have to have all the answers right now. What matters is that you love her, and she knows that." Her words were gentle, but they carried an edge of urgency. Robin had always been the peacekeeper, the one who tried to smooth over the cracks in Kody's relationships. But even she recognized the importance of this moment. "I do love her," Kody said quickly, almost defensively. I want to make sure she knows that, that this doesn't change anything." "Then tell her," Robin urged. A conversation with Cristin. Before he could confront his own fears, Kody decided to reach out to Cristin. Though their relationship had been strained since her decision to leave the family, she was still the mother of 6 of his children, and she understood Gwendlyn in a way he didn't. "She's always been different," Cristin said over the phone, her voice tinged with pride. "Not in a bad way, but in a strong, independent way. She's not afraid to be herself, and honestly, Kody, that's something we should all admire." Kody sighed. "I do admire her, Cristin. I feel like I've failed her somehow. Like I didn't prepare her for the world she's stepping into." "Or maybe you just didn't prepare yourself for the world she's stepping into," Cristin countered. Her words hit home. The family meeting. A few days later, Kody called a family meeting. Not everyone could make it. Some were busy with work, others with their own families. But those who attended sat in a semicircle around the living room, their expressions a mix of curiosity and apprehension. Gwendlyn sat beside Beatrice, her hand resting lightly on her fiancé's knee. She looked calm, but Kody could sense her underlying tension. "I wanted to talk to everyone," Kody began, his voice steady but soft. "Mostly, I wanted to talk to Gwendlyn." All eyes turned to her. "I've been thinking a lot about what you told me," he continued, "and I want you to know that I'm proud of you. For being brave, for being true to yourself. I know I didn't handle it perfectly at first, and I'm sorry if I made you feel like I wasn't supportive." Gwendlyn's eyes widened slightly, but she didn't interrupt. "This has been a journey for me too," Kody admitted. "But the one thing that hasn't changed is how much I love you. That's never going to change." The room was silent for a moment before Gwendlyn spoke. "Thanks, Dad. That means a lot." Her words were simple, but the emotion behind them was unmistakable. Moving forward. As the family dispersed, Kody felt a weight lift from his shoulders. He wasn't perfect, and he knew he still had a lot to learn. But for the first time in a long time, he felt like he was moving in the right direction.